So today we're doing the draft only rebuild where we go to win a World Series using only players that we've acquired through the first year player draft. That's right, no trades, no waivers, no Rule 5, no other acquisitions except for the draft. I can't use players that other teams have drafted either. It's literally just my own players. And to make matters even more difficult, we have acquired a full roster of 0 overall players where, yeah, it's tough. So that means we're looking at a minimum of 4 seasons to get a full 26-man roster. And even then it won't be full because it'll only be 24. And if we miss out on a signing or two, we might be even more trouble. But before we get to the draft, of course, we need to make sure that we have the best scouts possible, which I've done. And I'll also show you what I'm going to do for scouting. But this is what we've got. We've got Justin McKinney. I like him because of decently high efficiency, good rating for the pitchers. And if I really wanted to, I could send him out on Discovery. But again, he's also got some pretty decent position player rating as well. Efficiency for Marvin Gold, I really like that. I like to be able to get through as many prospects as possible when it comes to scouting. Decent pitcher rating, not the best position player rating, so I'll probably only have him scouting pitchers. And then we got Michael O'Malley, who just looks to be the guy that high efficiency. He's gonna be scouting position players for me, and I'm also gonna be sending him out on a few discovery missions. So without further ado, let's hop to the 7th of April, the first week you're allowed to start scouting, and let me show you what my whole process of scouting is going to be. So normally I set position need to starting pitcher just because that way the increase in player interest will happen. If you click on one of these positions, it shows you here on the left, player interest, increase player interest for players who match your selected positional needs. Obviously, I need every single position, but normally I like to start with the draft only rebuild with starting pitchers. Even in normal rebuilds, I like to have this spot ticked just because that way I can negotiate with my pitching prospects a little bit easier. So, I mean, it really depends. Like if you're in a rebuild and you're looking for a third baseman or a shortstop, you can also select those position choose. That's just my preference. I'm not saying it's the best way to do it. I'm just saying that's normally what I do because I normally end up drafting a lot of pitchers. I also scout a lot of pitchers too. So for this rebuild, I'll probably start with starting pitchers being my positional need. Here we go. This is what my whole scouting process is going to be to start. So normally what I do is I like to have at least 2 scouts that are good at scouting pitchers because I just like to scout position. I like to set it to starting pitcher, and then I set it to a region. Doesn't really matter what you start with. Again, we're going to rock with scout position, and we're going to set it to a different region. So we currently have the West and the international pool of players being scouted. My third priority is going to be our guy who's good at discovery, and I'm just going to discover more pitchers, or I could discover outfielders, infielders. I'm just going to switch every week discovering new positions or different regions of a position. So to start, I'm just going to start with the international pitchers. Let's see if we can find some more, and this will be my first week. So then let's set up our scouting plan. We'll go to the next week, and once we get there, we'll stop. Of course, we'll switch up our scouting. We've discovered 4 prospects. Awesome. Next up, let's switch it to the West. We'll keep that going. Same 2 scouts are still scouting that pool of outfielders, or not outfielders, pitchers, I'm sorry. And next up, you see, we're still scouting the international pool. We're still scouting the West pool. I'll leave these 2 scouts for about 5 or 6 weeks. That's just normally what I do. That way I scout all the international pitchers, all the West pitchers. And then after 5 or 6 weeks, I'll switch these to the other 2 regions that I haven't scouted. So the East and the Central. And then this third scout is literally just like my, hey, you're going to do everything. You're going to scout position players, pitchers, you're going to discover. This guy is my hard worker. He's out there doing every job under the sun, scouting a bunch of different players. So again, we just scouted the West. We got 2 pitchers there. Let's just we discovered 2 pitchers there. Let's discover the East now. Let's see if we've got anything out there. And it won't just be pitchers that I'm discovering. It'll just kind of be whatever I'm feeling at the moment. So 4 pitchers there. And again, you know what? Might as well. Let's just discover. Ooh, nope, not that one. The Central. We haven't done the Central. So for week 4, we'll go and discover the Central. See if there's anything uncovered for this region, which 4 pitchers were, discovered, which is awesome. So now I normally switch to hey, maybe some outfielders, maybe some infielders. Let's check the prospect list and just kind of see how every little section of players is looking. So it looks like maybe some infielders. Maybe we look for a little we'll go infield in the East, and then we'll scout again. There we go. That's basically what I do. And now since we're at week 6, what I'll do is I'll change these. So this one will be Central, this one will be East, and then I'll just do this till about week 11, week 12, and then this guy now will I can either keep discovering prospects, or I can have him start to actually like start scouting actual prospects. So that's my whole process, for those who've been asking. That's really what I've been done. 2 scouts doing pitchers. The third guy is literally just kind of my Swiss Army knife. He's going around scouting position players, if he's really good at scouting position players, pitchers, if he's really good at scouting pitchers. If he's good at both, I just pick a prospect to scout, or they're out there discovering prospects because they have high discovery rating. That's my whole process. So we're in draft 1, and I know you probably want me to show you the whole scouting process, what names are popping up, who I like. If I did that, this video would be like 9 hours long. This video is already gonna be long to begin with. So we have the 3rd pick, and there's a couple names on the board that I'm like, wow, these guys look good. We discovered a couple that looked pretty good as well, so I'm liking that. If I'm being honest, I want Stevie Taylor or I want Chris Valencia. I want one of these two. They look both like really, really good. Realistically, I probably want the outfielder more, because I feel like I'm going to be able to get so many pitchers in the future that getting these position players right off the rip is probably the best move. So yeah, I want Chris Valencia. I mean, if I get one of these pitchers, that'd be great. Honestly, if I could get, one of like this third baseman, if he might be the guy if I don't get Valencia. So let's see how this plays out. I could get lucky. I could end up getting super unlucky. So let's see, who do the Guardians, who do the Reds choose? It is going to be Gene Pritchett is the first pick. Okay, interesting. Second pick is going to be Stevie Taylor. So there goes the pitcher. So I mean, I'm still happy. I still get my guy Chris Valencia. I mean, look how good he looks. He looks insane. He's not going to be able to steal any bases, but everything else looks really solid. So I'm gonna take it. Chris Valencia. How we looking? Yep. In the Rockies uni, looking clean. All right, and so we're gonna go to our next pick. I haven't gone there yet. As you can see, we're on number 7, and I already know you guys are gonna be like, well, how do you know what prospects are good? How do you know what prospects are bad? Honestly, I just kind of base it off of having good scouts. If I have good scouts, I can kind of rely on them pretty heavily. Obviously, some scouts are gonna let me down. You don't want, bad scouts. Like if a scout has a bad pitcher rating, do not assign them to scout pitchers. They're going to give you bad reports. Same thing with if a scout is bad at scouting position players, don't send them out to scout position players. You're going to get bad reports. And if you auto scout throughout the entire year, it is random. They don't choose the best scout for the position. They just completely randomize it, so your reports may be wrong. So that's why I like manual scouting. But at the same time, I like that there is a chance that I get a pick wrong. I'm not trying to get a perfect pick every single time. Like, that's not the whole point of this. I want there to be some failure. I want them to, maybe I draft a guy that looks bad, and then all of a sudden he ends up being a cult hero because he hits a walk-off home run, or he performs in the playoffs, or he has one crazy season that leads us to a World Series, right? Like, that's the whole fun of drafting. You may get a dud. You may hit gold with a gem in the 6th round. Who knows? But let's get to our next pick, and all 3 of these guys are available, which makes me think I don't know who I want. We have 2 close picks here, right? 37, 41. So there's a chance I get 2 of these 3, right? They're all not ranked by MLB. So I think I'm going to take a pitcher here. I don't like that his control is so low. That worries me. Plus, he doesn't strike anybody out. Plus, he doesn't walk anybody. So maybe I take the safer option with McFadden. Is he the safer option, though? I don't know. Let's find out. We'll pick him, and then we'll go to our next pick, which both are still available. So I'm going to take Gino Fernandez, the first baseman. Like I said, I want position players to fill out the roster. Next pick, he's still there. He's still there. Let's pick him anyways. I feel like we're getting super lucky, and that's why it's always nice to discover players. I know in my video last year where I said I was scouting that I didn't discover players a lot, and I was wrong. I think I even put in the comment section that you should discover players after testing it out a little bit more. That, especially if you discover a gem, like we just found 3 or 4 players right there that could help us out. So I think from here on out, I don't really know who to choose here. I'm just going to be kind of guessing. I might take Jose Pinto. All right, we got 3 more picks left. And to be honest, I don't really have many players scouted, as you can see. So I might just take this guy. He's probably going to be super low rated based on the fact that his overalls at the highest is 60. I mean, there's a chance there's a little bit of leeway on both sides. He could be lower than 38 on the overall. He could be higher than 60. I doubt it. I'm assuming he's going to be like in the 50s. I'm just going to take him. And then we got 2 more picks. I'm just going to have to guess. I don't know. I don't really have an idea of who to get or who to choose at this point. So I'm just gonna take Ramon Sanchez. I don't like the looks of it. He's probably gonna be pretty bad, but again, it's just guessing at this point. And you know what? I'll take a reliever here in Valito, which I can't. I gotta wait till the next round. But I'm gonna take Valito, Kerry Valito as our last pick, and that should do it. So basically, from here on out, I'll just get to the draft signing day or the last day to sign draft picks. I'll get them all signed. I'll show you who we're working with for next season. That's basically every season. I'm going to draft. I'm going to show you how we did. And then I'm going to draft again, show you how we did. And yeah, in a couple seasons, we'll have an MLB roster to go. All right, so here's the moment of truth as our team is winless so far up until this point. Let's take a look. How did we do? Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Good speed, decent fielding. The hitting stats look fantastic. I am all in on Chris Valencia. Talk about a great start to the draft-only rebuild. We got Dalton McFadden, who's 64 overall, 88 potential, 92 potential for Gino Fernandez. Got the fielding, got the reactions. The hitting stats worry me. I don't know how good he's actually going to be, but I'll take it. 94 potential for Felix Manuel, or it could be Manuel. Either way, he could be sneaky good. Two fastballs and a curveball. He's a lefty. Limits the hits. The control's a little low. I'll see. But I might make him a reliever. We'll have to wait and see how things work out here. And then Tom Snyder looks decent. Looks decent as well. Ramon Sanchez, see potential. Speed, fielding looks to be more of his expertise. The hitting stats look pretty bad. And then of course Kerry Valito as a reliever. Got some time to develop though. So like these guys here, like the 50 overalls, it's good. It's good to get a good balance of like high overalls and low overalls. That way you can kind of let those low overalls catch up to everybody. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this first draft. So I'll see you guys for next season. We finished the season winless as expected. I'm assuming some stats are going to be inflated for some certain players, but Ohtani pitched pretty well, I would say. He had quite the season, along with it being a pretty good offensive season. We've got Aaron Judge winning the other side. Garrett Cole and Ohtani are the Cy Young winners. Oh, Ranger Suarez sneaking in there. Acuna and Soto, batting title winners. Pete Fairbanks as the reliever of the year. David Bednar as the other reliever of the year on the NL side. And then Yamamoto and Colt Keith as your rookies of the year. Somehow Evan Carter and Shanuel, who had better average, and I'm assuming just a better season overall than Colt Keith. Yeah, just because Colt Keith had more home runs, is that really what we're basing it off of? And RBIs? Interesting. So I'm not even going to worry about my team. I know my team was bad. Let's see who wins the World Series. Season 1, it is the Phillies over the Rangers. Interesting. Okay, off-season time. How are we going to handle this? What I'm going to do is, a lot of players retired. Kind of expected, right? They're 0 overall players. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring back players that I need to fill out the roster, right? But I'm also going to, since I lost players and I need to fill out the roster, I'm going to sign the lowest rated players possible. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take their potential down to F. That way I know the difference between them and the players that I drafted. That way there's no mix up. So you always know if you see a face that like isn't familiar or a name that isn't familiar, but you see that they have F potential, just know that I signed them to fill out my minor league roster, especially since I'm going to start to lose a lot of these Joe Randoms due to retirement, and I'm not going to have enough draft picks to kind of fill out the rest of the organization. So if you see a name that you just didn't realize before, but they have F potential, just know I signed them to fill out the rest of the organization. Season 2, how are we going to do? I saw there was a repeat player, so I guess he wasn't picked, and it was Gene Pritchett. He was one of the first couple picks in the draft, right? This is the guy that didn't get signed last draft, and he's back, which is cool to see. I didn't get as far out. Like, I wanted to scout Lionel Ross, and there were a couple others, but I just ran out of time. Didn't have high enough efficiency on my scouts. A couple scouts retired. I had to get some new ones, and yeah. So if I'm looking at the draft, I'm looking at Oliva here. Looks fantastic. We'll see if it happens. Also, there's a couple other pitchers. You know, they look decent. I wouldn't also mind a a position player where there is this guy. So if I can get Rob Foley, that'd be huge. Our outfield would probably be set. But if I get a pitcher, it's not the end of the world either, just because, you know, there's a couple other like position players. I don't think there were any two-way pitchers from what I noticed. Those are gonna be hard to find, so we'll just see what happens. If I can get that Foley guy, that'd be huge. But if I get a position, or if I get a pitcher, it's not the end of the world. Oh, I had the first pick. Duh. I thought I had the second pick. That's right. I have the first pick. Oh boy. Let's get into it. Let's view prospects. We're gonna take. I think we take him. I think we take Foley. I think it only makes sense. Let's get these position players, and we will always be able to find pitching. Always. No matter what, we will always have pitching. Let's get these position players. There we go. Rob Foley in the team. Next, I'm going to take Milton Wesley. He is going to take a little bit time to develop. If I was looking for a more ready pitcher, I guess like Rivera probably is around the same rating. Lester, probably the same thing too. Ward, Kemper. Yeah, that's the name. So he's probably around the same rating, maybe a little bit higher. There really aren't any until the later rounds of the draft, where they're probably more in the 60s, maybe pushing 70. So I think if we're just going to take the best player available, I don't know about Wesley. I'll take a risk. It's always fine taking a risk. And we could always make him a reliever too, if, you know, maybe his per nines aren't that great. That way it gives him a little bit more time to develop. But do I risk it with the injured pitcher? Yeah, I do. I risk it with the injured pitcher as well. And we just keep taking the best available. Let's see if one of those, like, is Todd going to be available a little bit later? Because I wouldn't mind getting somebody that is a little bit higher rated. That way, if, you know, we're moving a little quicker than anticipated, we at least have some pitchers that are usable. So we'll just take Estrella. He's one of the last ones we have scouted. And from here, now it's just a guessing game. Sure, we'll take Cher. Our team has him on the board. Why not take a chance with him? And now to finish it off, where is going to be... man, I have no idea who to take here. Honestly, I think we take one of these two, Ryder or Duncan. I feel like these two, there's something pulling me to them, and I'm gonna go Duncan. And the reason I'm gonna go Duncan is if I'm just looking at the per nines, I don't know anything, but I feel like I just like the looks of the per nines for Duncan a little bit better than Ryder. The walks, the home runs, and the control are just lower on Ryder compared to Duncan. The thing that worries me about Duncan is those future attributes look pretty high, like almost too good for an 81 potential player, which makes me think that Ryder is probably the more like, this is what he's going to be type player. So you know what? I guess I'm gonna take Ryder because my time ran out. Did I really just sit there for that entire 4 minutes? No way. Did I really? Well, that happened. Alrighty, everyone's been signed. Can we strike gold twice? Can we do it? No way. Unbelievable. Another generational talent. That is insane. It does help that we had a top 3 pick once again. We had the number 1 pick, so I just, you know, had to go with it. It's super lucky, and that's normally why I pick one of the first couple picks for the draft for this rebuild, because I need my help. Looking out elsewhere around the league, seeing if there's any other like crazy prospects. I'm not. There's some like actually Like, this first baseman could be sneaky good in the future. Let's see some pitchers that have high potentials. I'm trying to see if there's like anybody else. Like, this Hinton is probably going to hit for some pretty good average in the future. And Cesar Oliva. So there was actually 2 generational talents, and we wouldn't have gone wrong taking Oliva or the position player in Foley. So what would you guys have done? Would you have taken the pitcher or the position player? I feel like the position player is a little bit more fun. And on top of that, we hit him up with a Milton Wesley with 97 potential. He is low rated. He is going to take a while to get ready. 56 for Brad Lester, but he's got A potential as well. B potential for Todd, but he is 66 overall, so he's a little bit closer to be MLB ready. Estrella, potentially a star for us, 58 overall with A potential. And then Cher, it's got to be Cher, right? Either way, C potential. I don't hate the looks of his per 9s, though. They actually look decent. And Ryder, 53 overall with C potential, iffy. So again, we did pretty well. We also had 7 picks, so we're up to 14 players total, which is good. We just need 2 more seasons to fill out the roster, which is better than what I was hoping. I mean, 2 seasons we'll have extra players, actually, if we keep having 7 picks. So there it is. Not a bad season at all. I'm going to try to keep all my prospects in the minor leagues as long as possible. Yes, I am going to manipulate service time. I am going to be that type of person for this rebuild. I want to make sure that all my players are together at the same time. I can't be losing service time and then end up losing a player to free agency. Or at the same time, I can't have all my players hit free agency in the same year and I run out of money and I'm stuck. Especially with these generational talents, if they hit free agency at the same time, I can't be handing out $40 million contracts all the time. So let's see how this season finishes. We don't need to see. We know it's going to be a bad season. Let's get to season 3. I guess I should point out, just so you guys know, that I did add a couple guys to the team. We'll sort by potential. These 3 right here, these were added just to fill out the roster a little bit. But again, F potential, don't worry about them. But the rest of the talents, I'm liking what I'm seeing. So Valencia's up to an 85, 100%. He'll be in the majors next year. There's just no reason to keep him in the minor leagues. But at the same time, it might be worth it. It might be worth it. He's going to be like a 90 overall next year. That's crazy. 67 for Fernandez, 67 for McFadden, 61 for Felix Manuel. He just doesn't strike anybody out. 60 for Valito. Oh, okay. He went up. We've got Snyder up to 58. Sanchez up to 56. This guy's just going to be our base stealer, 100%. Who else? That was it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. All right, that's the season. Let's see who wins the World Series. Who is it going to be? It is going to be the Dodgers defeating the Red Sox. We'll quickly fly through. James Outman was MVP this year. Last year it was Bryson Stott. Ohtani was the postseason MVP for the NL. Last year it was Marsh. This year it was Devers and Evan Carter in the AL. Or Evan Carter was last year. I guess we should take a look and see who was MVP really quick. Ohtani once again, along with Aaron Judge. What a surprise there. Pablo Lopez, Cy Young, Ohtani again. Okay. Mookie Betts and Julian batting title, Pete Fairbanks and Bednar. Bednar back-to-back relievers of the year. And then Troy Johnston, Wyatt Langford, rookies of the year. Wyatt Langford is going to be so good. He's already shown it in real life. But yeah, off-season time. See you guys for season 3. Season 3 draft, a little bit of a pickle, not gonna lie. We have pick number 7, which is super disappointing. Don't know how we got that unlucky in the draft. I've also scouted pretty poorly this year because I was focusing more on finding specific players, position players, and maybe like a really good pitcher. Issue is now I didn't really scout as many players as I would have hoped. And with the 7th pick, I'm sitting here going, I'm probably not going to get somebody that I want. So as you can see, I currently have 2, 4, 6, 7 on my wish list. These 2, I'm like, if I really get stuck with no other option, I'll pick these 2, which they don't look terrible. It's just, there's definitely better options out there. I also think Gill is not as good as the report says. I'm a little worried about him, but John Morris is probably going 1-1. Probably not going to get him. Todd Best, probably going in the top 3 or 4. Probably not going to get him either. I would like Sammy to fall to us at 7. That would be huge. I would like Jeremy Robert to fall to us at 7. That would be huge. If I can get one of those two, I'm happy. If I can get Kepler, I'm also happy. If I can get one of these 3 second baseman shortstop, I'm happy. I'm crazy ecstatic if I can get Best or Morris, but I doubt that's gonna happen. So with the 7 picks, or the 6 picks in front of us, let's see what happens. Like, fingers crossed, fingers crossed we get one. I'm probably not gonna. John Morris is what I never see. Is that normal? I never see them wearing the jacket, but he goes 1-1 expected. Number 2, long hair. It's probably one of the second basemen. Who is it? Todd Best, expected. He was a top 3 pick. All right. Next up, long hair. That's what? Robert? Is that the other one? It is. I'm not going to get who I want. I'm not. We've got 3 picks. I've got 2 players that I want, and they are 100% getting chosen. I'm letting this time tick down. Kepler gets taken. I bet you this one's going to be Sammy, and I'm going to be super upset. And if it's not Sammy, they're going to pick some random guy that I wasn't even thinking about. Mike Hoskins. Oh no, this is going to be Sammy. It's 100% Sammy. It's 100% Sammy. I know it is. It is. It's going to be. Yep. I guess we take Gil. Or do I take another outfielder? I'll take the risk. I'll take Gil. I'll take the risk. And then from here on out, I don't really know what to do because I scouted so poorly. So now I think I just kind of have to go with whatever I have best scouted, which isn't great. So who am I taking a chance on? Munoz or Henderson? Munoz or Henderson? Both scouted about the same. Let's take a shot on Henderson. Let's see what happens. Next up, Munoz is still there. So are some of these other pitchers, but we are kind of lacking in the bullpen. You need a good bullpen. Let's go for Munoz. And now I'll take Becker. I'll take Becker here. Probably a safer pick. Potential's lower. Overall is going to be lower, but he's probably going to be, 70s potential and could help us out for the future. So I'm okay with that. Next pick. Who do we have? What is this? 107. I think we go with the one that's got a little bit more potential, Portillo. The walks per 9 were a little worrying. They were in the red, but I'm okay with that. And here, I think we just take these final 2 picks in Liss, and where was he? Got taken. So I think we just guess here. We'll go Irvin. So did we strike gold? Did we get it right? I feel real bad about this one. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's definitely the worst of the group. So we'll take a look and see what some of the other ones. So John Morris, 91 potential. So there's that, right? Like, he's good. He's good. Definitely would have liked him on the team. Robert, 80 potential. So we're a little bit better there, which is okay. Like, he looks great. He looks like the typical short second baseman that MLB The Show creates. So there's that. What about some of these other names that we missed out on? So 92 potential for the shortstop. I mean, switch hitter too. I would have liked that in our team. 100%. Ooh, Cedeno. I'm going to keep my eye on looking for Cedeno in the future. Let's see what other names. McCormick wasn't one. Best, 88 potential. Also just looks super well-rounded. Speed, fielding, and hitting. All right. Hernandez, whoa. Didn't have my eye on this guy at all. Looks good, though. Looks good. Grove, McBride. Where is the last one? Not Miller, but he has good potential. That's interesting. Hoskins, again, I didn't scout a lot of outfielders just because we had outfielders. I was kind of looking more for infielders. And where's that last? Oh, Kepler. 87 potential. 87 potential. He looks good. He looks good. Good fielding, decent speed, good steal, good hitting. Dang, we missed out on Kepler. That's tough. That's tough. But overall, I think that's an okay draft. A lot of players didn't go signed, but an okay draft. We got Gil, 84 potential, 74 overall. Definitely good enough to hop into the team pretty soon. 94 potential for the closer. So our bullpen is going to be stacked with a B potential and A potential in Henderson and Munoz. Becker, 75 potential, 81 potential for Portillo. Liss, 72. And then Irving was a shot in the dark with 64 potential. But you know what? It wasn't the draft that we wanted, but at least we got some good players to kind of fill out the roster. So the Rays defeat the Cubs in the 2026 World Series. We'll take a look and see who won MVP. It was a Rosarena. Postseason was Seiya and Yandy. Regular season was Mike Trout for the MVP, beating out Seager and Langford. Langford is already a 93 overall. Holy cow. 47 home runs is crazy. Ohtani again wins it. Also wins the Cy Young. What a surprise. McClanahan is the Cy Young winner on the AL side. Shanuel and Arise, who is now with the Nationals, is a batting title winner. Alvarado and Peter Fairbanks. And we take a look at Rookie of the Year. It was Emmanuel Rodriguez from the Twins, beating out Kobe Mayo and Robert Hughes, who probably isn't getting any more time in the majors. And then Ryan Clifford of the Mets, beating out Napoleon Nelson. What a name. And Brady House, whose potential has gone down. I don't think anybody has made the majors yet. Has McFadden? He did. 16 games. Okay. Anybody else? Todd did. Was pretty bad. Okay, so it wasn't Todd that I made the reliever. Who was it? Who did I make a reliever? Oh, Lester. Brad Lester. So as you can see, overall did go down because I dropped into a reliever, but really good growth in terms of the per nines. So there's that. And let's see. No, Valito's potential went down to D. That's unfortunate. That is really bad for us, actually. Like, very, very bad for us. Starting pitchers, any other MLB appearances? No. And then position players, I doubt any of them made it. Yeah, it doesn't look like any of them have made it to the major leagues yet, which is cool. Like, Valencia is definitely going to be ready. Holy, if I can get one more season with them staying in the minor leagues, I think I'll be okay. I'm okay with the pitchers going to the major leagues just because it'll give them the experience. And realistically, like, McFadden is not too far off. Todd is probably a little bit off, but we should be okay. So season 3 in the books. We've got one more before we fill out the roster. Definitely need position players. So missing out on, you know, like that good Sammy Coran, who was like 14th on MLB, but for some reason the Marlins took him. Super bummer. I would have liked Kepler too. I think Kepler would have been good. But overall, pretty happy with the team so far. Looking at it, 1 outfielder, 2 outfielder, an infielder here, infielder here. Yeah, definitely need some infielders. We're missing quite a few. We've got like half a lineup, and we've got like a full pitching rotation. So I think we need to, fingers crossed, get some really good position players in the next draft. Or I am going to mention that I did change a couple positions, and it was, so we talked about Lester. He's a reliever now. And Irvin and Portillo. And the reason I made Irvin was because he was deep potential, hoping that maybe dropping him from a starter to reliever would drop his overall enough where he could maybe hold his rating. Not likely. That's not good. And then Portillo was the other one that I made a reliever just because I was looking at his stamina. It was looking a little low. I thought, you know what, as a reliever, he might be fine. And obviously we have Henderson and Munoz as our relievers. Pitching wise, we're looking pretty good about to head into the draft. And with that being said, there's a lot of good pitchers in this draft. So I'm in a little bit of a pickle. Also, they're generating a lot of relievers because I don't have relievers and closers in my team. So that's why like the top 100 is just covered with players. So what I've been doing is I've been scouting pitchers, and then I've been scouting position players a little bit later in the draft. So like, where have I like this guy was, I was kind of hoping he would have held his rating a little bit. Like, we have the number 1 pick, but like I was trying to find like the 50 range, the 50s, like the 60s, the 40s, that range. So that way, you know, the second round, the third round, the fourth round, there'd still be position players that I could look at to draft. The issue is none of the position players were good in this round. So I'm gonna have to start discovering more position players. I spent 3 weeks scouting catchers, and I literally got one week. I spent 3 weeks scouting catchers, or discovering catchers. I got 1 catcher returned. That was it. That was all that my scout found. 1 catcher in 3 weeks. I need a catcher, so like I need to draft this guy. And the issue is he's like a 4th, 3rd round talent. I'm gonna have to take him in like the 2nd round. I need a catcher. I don't have one. So there's that. But if we're looking at the best player like that I need to draft, it's probably going to be a pitcher. Unless I want to reach pretty heavily for a position player that is currently injured. So that might come back to hurt us. So yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be a pitcher heavy draft once again. We'll see what happens. I don't really want to go for a closer, but I'm also looking at just these pitchers in general. Maybe Kevin Castillo. I don't know. I'm not really liking what I'm seeing from the draft. So let's start the draft. We'll view prospects and just I guess we just see like who I don't know. I feel like this guy's probably the safer pick, but he doesn't look good. I don't know. I guess we take, this one's gonna be a bit of a project. We do kind of need players for the future. We'll take Danny Flores. I totally skipped my second pick. I'm not even like looking at it. Not like I skipped it. Skipped it. I just went autopilot and I picked the catcher. I'm gonna go Michael Beatty or Beatty here. I guess it would be Beatty. Next pick, I'm just gonna start just taking whoever we have like really well scouted, like Morris potentially. Where are we? 77. I guess we go with Ortega as a little bit of a stretch. Next pick, I think we just go with, we'll go Morris here. Again, I'm not liking what I'm seeing here. I really need some position players. We'll take Rivas, and then we'll round it out with okay, Rivera. Actually, not bad. Stamina, or do we go Henley? No, I think Rivera looks like, Pacheco don't look bad either. Or Baca, whatever. We'll take Baca. I don't think he looks that good, but we'll see. I'm not liking what I'm getting these last two drafts. I'm feeling a little unlucky. So let's see if we were unlucky in the end. So did we draft correctly? Okay, not great at all, for sure. So looking around the league, I feel like there are some decent picks that we missed. The main one is this outfielder where is he? This one. We missed this one, which really would have been good. Yeah, he would have been. But we instead went with the pitcher, which 93 potential is not bad. 62 overall is a little unfortunate. And then the rest of the picks were pretty atrocious. And by atrocious, I mean just like, honestly, they're not terrible. Like a 69 overall with B potential is not bad. Like this is a guy that we turn into a reliever. He becomes probably decent. You know, kind of Bo Morris, probably the same thing. The clutch is a little low, but not a bad player for like just filling out the roster. Ortega, again, not a bad player to fill out the roster. Beatty, not a bad player to fill out the roster. So like these are guys that like, they're not bad, but we definitely could have done better. All right, end of the season, we'll take a look and see who won the World Series. It was the Padres, who this is the World Series MVP. Postseason was Bogarts and Gunnar Henderson. Kevin Alcantara had a pretty good postseason. Was his rookie season. Okay. Awards-wise, MVP for the regular season was Nolan Gorman, who hit almost 60 home runs and 183 RBIs. Pretty impressive. Vladdy won it on the other side with almost 50 home runs. Nice. Cy Young went to Brian Bayo and Spencer Strider. Bogarts and Mayo were the batting title winners. Wantz and Alvarado, relievers of the year. And then rookie of the year went to Kevin Alcantara and Connor Norby. Leodalis DeVry, who is with the Padres in real life. I think he's 17 in real life currently. A lot of hype around him. Apparently just skipping the Dominican League completely, going straight to like rookie ball. So we'll see what he can do there. But it'll be interesting to see. They got some young prospects in the works with DeVry and Ethan Salas. So there's that. Did we see the rookie of the year on the AL side? We did not. Who is it? Connor Norby. Maybe we did. I don't remember now. Thinking about the team, yeah, I have a 92 overall in AAA. The issue I have now is all these players are going to become free agents at the same time. But I also was holding them down, manipulating service time because I didn't want them to, you know, like hit free agency when we're starting to kind of get running. Now that we have we'll have close to a full roster, now we can really start to see like where our holes are and everything like that. So heading into the offseason, I'm going to fill out the team, of course, with the players that I need to, drop their potential down to F, and let's just see what we're looking like. I have a feeling pitching is going to be a bit of an issue. Oh, wow. My pitching coach and my manager left. That is unfortunate. And my farm director. All right, so I'm going to have to fill that out. But from here on out, we should have a full roster, and hopefully now we get a little bit a little bit more luck in the draft, and we can start pushing, to see how we can compete with this draft only squad. All right, season 4, I think, right? No, season 5. Season 5. We've done 4 already. We haven't won a single game. Maybe this season we will. We have a full rotation. Edmund Liss is going to be making his debut. Russell Becker. Both haven't pitched yet, but Becker's going to make his debut. I went with them because they have seed potential. I figured the guys that have more potential, let's let them pitch in the minor leagues, develop a little bit more. We're going to go with Manuel because he's one of our better pitchers in general. So I feel like he could definitely help us out. Barrett Todd has already had some time in the majors. Let's get him into the team. And then Dalton McFadden has also had a little bit of time in the majors. Let's see what he can do. He's been rocking about a 4.5 ERA-ish. So we'll see. Rivas, I made a reliever. He actually stayed really close to what his overall already was. So I think maybe he just is meant to be a reliever. And looking at him, 63 overall, he could be our long reliever for now. Potentially might move him down. It's just we've got a really good closer already in Henderson. Sure or Share? It's probably Share. I'm going to stick with Share. Damon Share is our setup guy. I don't really know how often we're going to get to these two. Realistically, I might actually just have these two be like the middle relief guys because realistically we're going to need it, right? Like we're not going to get too many close situations. We're not. So let's get them as much time as possible along with Rivas. I think this is what our pitching staff is going to look like. We still got plenty of guys down here in the farm system along with Estrella and a few others. I shouldn't have any other players that are not real. I think they're all gone now. Yeah, they're all gone. It's a full organization of our own players. So yeah, that's Ryder's ours, Irvin, who's probably not going to stick around for too much longer because he's already regressing. But we do have Baca, who I believe I made a reliever. I wrote it down. Beatty, Rivas, and Baca were the recent players that got changed from starters to relievers. So there's that. I'm liking what I'm seeing. We're getting good development. Lineup wise, this is what we've got. We've got half a lineup plus Shelly in AAA. Everybody else is Joe Random. So we've got this for our team right now. We have a catcher around the corner, and then we need a shortstop, a third baseman, and a DH. So that's my target now. I feel like we're good on the pitching. Let's go get some offense. We're still ranked 30th. Can we win our first game? Let's see how we do. Oh, I didn't fix the lefty lineup. Let's see what we're looking like. Let's throw him here. He goes here. We'll bump him up. Gil right there. Gino Fernandez. We'll go like that. And he can go in center. And he'll go right there. So this is a whoever. And we should be good to go now. How do? We lose the first. 6-1's not bad. 6-1's not bad. We lose the second. 8-2. What about the third? We gotta win. It looks like we walked it off in the ninth. And let's see. 3 RBIs for Ramon Sanchez. We had 1 for Joe Random at the bottom and 1 for Chris Valencia. Okay. All right. I like that. A home run and a Joe Random home run. I like it. Felix Manuel went 2 earned runs on 7 2/3 innings. I like what I'm seeing there. How's the pitching looking? McFadden, yikes. Todd, okay. But all right, I'm keeping my eyes on this one right here. We might have something there. All right, I'm gonna get to scouting time, and let's see how season 5 treats us. Season 5, I'm feeling pretty good about the draft, like really good. I feel like I scouted very well. We got Lewis Scott, who I'm like really good fielder. The bat, I'm a little worried about. He does look really good though, so he could be good. We got Enos Pope, pitcher. Again, not necessarily my biggest need. Same thing with Corey Farizel. I'm gonna go with Farizel. We've got Domingo, Gonzalez, but then we've got Felipe Marte. We got pick number 4. So there's a couple out here that look decent. So I'm going to keep my eye on Felipe Marte. He looks pretty good. We need some infield too. Some good pitchers as well. So I'm keeping my eye on them. Who knows what happens and if like any of them fall to us. But I was scouting a bunch of different position players, just trying to see where they would fall in the draft. So that was kind of my big thing. Let's see how many like later position players we could pick up. So we'll see. I really think Lewis Scott is probably the best player, but I don't know if I'll actually take him. I'm kind of thinking Felipe Marte might be the guy, just because I feel like he's probably the one that'll help us out the most. I think where is he? I think Lewis Scott's the better player long term. I think Marte helps us out immediately though. All right, pick 4. It looks like a pitcher is going number 1. So there's that. It's going to be Jackie Gonzalez, who we had at number 6. I mean, he does look good. He does look fantastic. High overall with decent potential. All right. Okay, next pick, long hair. Felipe Marte. They took my third baseman. They took my third baseman. Is this the outfielder? Are they just going to really put the cherry on top of the cake here? They did not. Okay, it was a catcher. I should be scouting more catchers. But I think with that in mind, we are going to take Lewis Scott. I don't think he's that great. And I guess we could use a pitcher. Is pitching the right move? I gotta double check. Let me see. I've got so many pitchers scouted, including like I went a little crazy with the relievers too. So like I kind of wanted to make sure that I guess I do have this guy at 50 who can play infield. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna throw him on my queue so I don't forget about him. I got this catcher for a little bit later. Somebody might take him though. Any other players that I scouted I scouted this guy slightly. Is he gonna fall to us? Maybe. This guy will throw on. This guy will throw on too. So I guess we do have a couple position players that we can look for a little bit later in the draft. But at the same time, I feel like I really need another good outfielder. So I'm going to take Lewis Scott. All right, so we're at number 36, which I could also take another position player, which I think I might, because I'm looking at this going, there's some good pitchers, but also I feel like we need the position player. I was gonna say also we could take the pitching, but I feel like the position player is what we need. I keep saying the same thing. I know I am. So I'm gonna stop messing around with it. I know we have him on the board at 50, but I'm just worried that another team is gonna take him at like 77. So I'm gonna take Norm here. It's a little bit of a reach. I know. He's probably gonna end up with like low 80s, high 70s potential, but I think it's worth it. So next up, I don't have that guy scouted a lot. I have that guy scouted. He's probably gonna get chosen. This guy might make it to us in the next round. This guy might make it to us in the next round. So I think here is where we take a pitcher, and these pitchers look terrible. Holy cow. All of them do. Whoa. So I might take someone that's a little bit down the board for us. Just someone that's a little bit closer to MLB ready, because we're trying to push now. So like this guy. I'm feeling good about this guy. I know you're probably thinking, take the best one, the best rated one. I need to be smart with my picks. This guy was drafted a few seasons ago by somebody. I think it was the Giants, and he wasn't chosen. So I'm going to pick him up. He looks good. He's not going to be too high rated or too high potential, but we need to start filling out the team a little bit. So now, since we're in like the 4th round and stuff like that, because we're a little bit later in the draft, I think now is where we start to take these players that are like too good to pass up type situations. They're gonna be super low rated, but they're gonna have potential, and you never know. They might end up being kind of nice. So with that in mind, ooh, wait a second. Is there one that we have scouted that might have, like, he looks okay but not great? I feel like this one might be a little bit of a better option. Strikeouts, walks, home runs. Control's not bad. Velocity's not bad. Stamina's not bad. All right, we'll take Bradshaw. And we've got what? One more pick. So do we take Lux, Plaza, Pacheco, Bishop, or Foster? I think I'm out on Foster. I think I'm out on Bishop too. So I think it's going to be Pacheco, not Plaza, maybe Lux. I think we go Lux. And I think that's how we round out the draft. I think that's actually a pretty good draft. I'm feeling pretty good about that one. All right, my good feeling. Was it right to have that good feeling? Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So we picked Lewis Scott, right? Like, I knew the hitting was going to be a little bit low. Looking elsewhere, what other Terry Ruth. That's a good name. I like that name. Okay, looks decent. Looks decent. Not bad. Could have had him, but you know what? I'm not too worried about that. Looking at the rest though. Okay, there was Corey. He was the name that was up there. We could have had him. Arthur Sparks. I think I like ours better. Ooh, that looks, I mean, 81 potential, but that's still pretty good. That's a pretty good pickup there. Marte, 85 potential. I kind of figured he'd be a little bit lower on the potential, but the hitting is just, he kind of looks like what we have with Guillermo Gil. That's a very similar player to what we already have. Okay, let's see. Wait, Pablo, let's see. Ibarra. Okay, so they took the catcher that I didn't scout at all. He has got 92 potential, so I'm gonna have to start looking at some more catchers. But overall, like, yeah, this guy looks good too. He looks pretty good for a reliever, but I feel like we did pretty good. So let's go take a look at our draft class as a whole. So Lewis Scott, A potential. The hitting stats aren't there, but the fielding and the speed are. So we should be okay. Not bad. Yeah, C potential is a little tough here. That's a little unfortunate, but I don't hate it. The good hitting stats, he should be good, right? Like, and 77 potential, he's got plenty of room to grow. I'm actually pretty happy with that. Honestly, he might be our shortstop. He's got a weak arm, but he's got the fielding and reaction. I think we could make it work. Stevens, 71 with B potential. I like that. Okay, C potential, what is it? 76, and he's 69 over it. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. Samuels has got A potential, probably going to be a reliever with the rest of his stats. And then Bradshaw's got A potential as well. And then we finish it off with Lux, who also looks to be a reliever and looks decent. 62 overall with B potential. Overall, I'm happy. I feel like we kind of rebounded after the previous 2 seasons. So not bad. We're up to 20 wins. Can't complain. Let's finish off the season. Let's see how the team did. 28 and 134. Not great. Not great. Did anybody get sent down? No, but we've got some good growth. Players are starting to get close to the 70s. Lester's up to a 59, and Beatty, who was a starter turned reliever, is up to a 63 already. Like, he actually looks really good. He looks very good. This might be another bullpen arm that we can throw in immediately. Rivas, okay, sub 4 ERA over 160 innings. That's huge for us. Henderson probably got used a lot, 134 times, and was fantastic. Love that. Yeah, not great from Cher. Yeah, and then Valito, I threw him in the closer role because he's got the deep potential. He actually went up and got used 27 times. Wasn't great, but all right. McFadden, how are we looking? Not C, 6 ERA. I mean, he's still growing, like 77 overall. We're looking fine there. Okay. I mean, he's consistent at least, right? He's consistent. I'll give him that. And then this is looking like our superstar pitcher for sure. What about Becker? 5 ERA. I mean, a 67 overall. I can't complain about that. And then a 5.5 ERA. Again, can't really complain by the performances. Pretty happy overall. Lineup wise, how we looking here? 55 overall. Probably should just start him. I mean, what's the worst? It's got to be better than this, right? But how did Ramon Sanchez do? Probably our worst hitter and pretty apparent. Gino Fernandez. This is an interesting one. Is the power going to be useful? I mean, doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. We've got Guillermo Gil, who the hitting stats, I feel like he should be doing a little bit better based off of what he's looking like attribute-wise, I should say. So I don't even know if he's going to grow too much more either, which could be an issue. Valencia, does he have any quirks? He doesn't. Not a bad season. Not a bad season at all. I'll take that for sure. 94 overall, so he's getting close to his peak, which is not good. I need the team to start popping off. And then Foley struggled a little bit, which is not what I want to see. He also doesn't have any quirks. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the team. Let me just finish off the season to see who wins the World Series. And it was the Padres again. Wow. And we didn't even win an award. Tatis was MVP for the World Series. Pete Alonso was the postseason MVP along with Wyatt Langford, who's probably just absolutely crushing it. Yeah. That's gross. If we look at that MVP for the season, the regular season, it was Gunnar Henderson, who actually beat out Wyatt Langford. Gorman won it on the other side again with the 50-plus home run season. Flaherty and Alcantara were Cy Young winners. Relievers of the year was Barlow and Bednar. I should go back to the batting title, which was won by Brendan Donovan and Bregman. Rookie of the year went to Nathan Mortarella. Huh, okay. Who beat us out? Oh, Robbie Snelling. Oh, and okay, I'd give it to Snelling. That's a pretty good season. Yeah, I understand why he won it. Why is Salamedo ahead of us? I feel like Valencia should be number 2. Snelling definitely should have won it. Overall, I'm pretty happy with that. It's not bad. How did we rank as a whole, like as a team? We weren't last batting average wise, which is crazy. How were we not last? We had to have been last. Oh, this is the postseason. That's why. I needed to look during the regular season. That's my fault. All right. Overall, I'm still pretty happy with it. We're about to head into season 6, I believe. So far, so good. I'm pretty happy with that. I feel like we're building a pretty good team. I do need to change a couple players' positions, and it's going to be starters to relievers once again. It's just the guys who have like Bo Morris. I'm going to turn him into a reliever. I think he's going to be good there. We're going to go with another one that we just drafted in Lux. I think he's like a 62 overall right now. I think he's going to stay about the same. Who else? There was one more that I saw. Samuels. I think Samuels is also going to be a pretty good reliever. So let's see. Did Lux kind of stay the same? No, he dropped a lot. Huh. Interesting. Samuels dropped for sure. Morris dropped a little bit, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with the bullpen we're starting to slowly put together. Munoz is definitely someone that'll come up to the majors next year. And then we've got some pitchers that are close to cracking the major league roster. So with the offense too, I feel like we've got a decent squad starting to form. Season 6, we have a full lineup. We actually have a full lineup now. So basically, if they were just drafted, they're thrown in. I did make Norm a shortstop. So there, he's going to play shortstop for us. So we'll see how that goes. Oshiro is still going to play third. Scott's going to be DH. That way we can just focus on the hitting stats, hopefully. And then we don't have anybody else. That being said, pitching looks good. You can kind of see what we've got going on here. Did I make another player a reliever? Oh, I made Scott a center fielder. That was one change. I made Valencia a center fielder as well. So I think he stayed the same, but I think Scott went up 2 ratings, and I think that's what changed. So there we go. There's that. But pitching wise, you can kind of see we've got Ortega. We've got Snyder still, who I think is really close to being called up. We have Stevens, who I think is going to be fantastic if we can get that control up just a little bit. Wesley, there's still Estrella, Flores, Bradshaw. We've got the pitching. I'm feeling good about the pitching now. They're starting to develop. We should be there. Like, the bullpen looks fantastic. Honestly, though, we should probably get Henderson in as the closer now, because we should start winning more games. And now it's time to actually, close it out, win stuff. Maybe not. Maybe we stay with what we had. How many blown saves last year? Only 5. It's not terrible. It's not a great percentage, but it's not terrible. So I'm going to stick with our 2 best arms in middle relief. That way they get the most use, and then we'll stay everything the same. So yeah, that's going to be the team. I'm liking it. We're still ranked 30th, but we have 29th speed. Moving up. Alrighty, draft time. Some good players. We have the first pick again. That's right, the first pick again. We've got a closer here. Probably not going to take him, but I'm keep him on my queue just in case we need a closer later on. We got Daryl Woody. Probably out on him, going to be honest. We've also got Johnny Stanley. Does look fantastic. He looks unbelievable. So does Rick Thornton, though. But the thing is, he's clearly just a power hitter. He is not going to hit for any average. So it's going to be tough for him to be good, which I was super bummed about, because I was like, yes, a position player. We're in. Like, we're going to get this great position player. No. Dick Waller, I mean, great name, but I'm probably going to pass as well. Again, some more good relievers. Jason Tanaka looks like a really good pitching prospect. Very good pitching prospect. Charles Ramirez, if I want to go the infielder route, again, looks like a really good on-base guy, which I'm tempted. I'm not going to lie, I'm very tempted. We can get the other Oshiro, Eric Oshiro, who looks very, very good. Very good. So there's a couple decent guys, and I'm like, man, I don't think we could go wrong with this draft. I've also scouted a few other positions so that we have some for later on in the draft, which now, like, the third baseman, like, he's 30th ranked. I felt like I scouted way more. Oh, I went heavy on the catchers. I definitely scouted way more than that. Either way, I feel like if we're gonna go with a pick, I I think Woody's not the guy. I think Stanley is, and I do think we need a pitcher that's close to MLB ready. So the offense does suck. I know it does. The issue is it worth reaching for Ramirez here or Oshiro? Like, is that worth the pick to possibly miss out on a very good pitcher? I don't know, because he's probably gonna be like high 60s. I don't know. I'm still on the fence. I feel like the position player is what we need the most. I feel like we're doing very well with pitching. So, man, I just feel like this guy's gonna be good. I feel like this guy's gonna be very good. So, do I? It's an eeny, meeny, miny, mo situation here, because like this guy also, like, I feel like really helps us out with what we need. We need that offense. We need the offense, and I feel like we're really lacking on the offense. And I feel like we do have the pitching. I also do feel like we've got the pitching later on in the draft too. I feel like there's some decent arms that we could turn to that I've scouted. So like this guy, honestly, later on in the draft is not a bad pickup. You know, we don't necessarily need like superstar pitchers. We just need pitchers with good outcome. Oh man, I think this guy's gonna be so good. I think I'm gonna reach though. You guys are gonna hate me for it. I know it. I know you guys are gonna hate me for it. So I'm gonna take the shortstop or the center fielder. Who do I want more? I want the center fielder. Boom. Top went second, so that actually makes me feel a little bit better about my pick. And this is probably gonna be the pitcher. I would assume it's gonna be the pitcher. Yeah. That makes sense. So now, look at, like I said, this is where I figured we could get some pitching. I'm gonna take this guy. He looks insane. Rodney Gowdy. And then next round, I feel like there's still like, he looks terrible. I'm not gonna lie, he looks terrible. I'm gonna keep passing on him. He also looks terrible. I'm gonna pass on him as well. Like, do I say, hey, let's reach for another pitcher? What pick is this? 70th. I'm gonna take this Pulido guy. I think we did well there. I don't think we did bad at all. Now here, do I take one of them? Let's see who else we have scouted. What about him? How's he looking? No strikeouts, poor control. I'm gonna take a chance. We're gonna take Iramura, and now we take Waller, and then next round we'll take Serna, and that's really the draft. Like, I feel like we did very well. Who else? What else we got? Anything that's like, hey, that guy, you know what? Jeff Daly. I kind of like those per nines. We had him scouted fairly well. Let's see how we did. All right, you're gonna hate me. It was a generational pitcher, and I had a feeling it was, and I was like, you know what? We probably should take him. The thing is, I just feel like there were better pitchers that we could get later on in the draft, and I felt like we weren't gonna be able to get the position players that I wanted, right? Like, I felt like we could totally get pitching later, and we weren't gonna get position players later. So what I did, I feel like it was the right move. I feel like we did the right thing. Oshiro, 88 potential, good hitting stats, 5'10". I might actually move him to the infield. Just, you know, the fielding's not great. He does have the speed, but we also have openings on the infield, so I might move him to the infield. But great closer with crazy good potential, right? 95. We got 81 potential for Pulido, so he could be pretty good for us. 72 overall as well. 60 overall with C potential for Iwamura, which I actually think his per nines don't look terrible. A potential for Waller, but 61 overall, probably gonna make him a reliever. Serna, 52 overall with A potential, and then Daly has like 1 potential higher than his overall, so I'm gonna see if I can get him into the team immediately. Actually, his potential is lower than his overall, so we definitely need to get him into the team immediately. I think we did the right thing. It sucks that we missed out on another generational talent, but hey, I felt like this was the move. Also, I have yet to see a two-way player, and I am so many drafts in. What the heck? Give me a generational two-way player. I need one, please. We won 60 games this season, which is actually pretty impressive. Like, I didn't expect that. I was thinking still kind of around the, you know, maybe like the 40s. But to go up to 60 games, I like it. We got a league leader and an award, but were we the worst team in baseball? All right, so far it's looking like it. Yeah, we still were. Okay, you know what? But we're getting there. We're getting there. Team rankings wise, it's the first time we're going to take a look at this throughout the rebuild, just because it's kind of the first time where we have like an actual full roster that we can put together. We finished last in batting average. All right. Runs, last as well. And home runs, 27th. We're not out of it just yet. What about pitching? Are we the worst pitching team on paper? No, we aren't. 15th? I'll take that. Hey, we should have drafted the generational talent. It would have probably bumped us up into the top 10, maybe. League leaders, Chris Valencia led the league in home runs. What? Jackson Holiday and Trey Turner getting 200 hits is pretty impressive. Doubles goes to Ezekiel Duran and Trey Turner. And then what else do we have here? Langford with 47 and 45 for Chris Valencia. I love seeing that. And we do have an award. What is it gonna be? It is Rookie of the Year for Steven Oshiro. Otani is back to winning MVP, somehow beating out. I guess O'Neal Cruz did just have more home runs, but like Chris Valencia in the MVP race. Still no quirks. Oh, but the home run champion and a silver slugger, so that's cool to see. Oh, we're gonna be able to see all the awards that the players get throughout this rebuild. That's huge. That's awesome. All right, cool. Almost 50 doubles, 45 home runs. Had a good season. Got caught stealing a lot. Maybe we should stop stealing with him, but great season. Love it. He's in the MVP race. All right, Langford. If you're playing franchise, just get Wyatt Langford. The roster that I'm using for this is the one that I used in the Rockies rebuild, which is my last video. It's literally in the beginning of the video I show the roster. The only thing that I've changed is I've updated a couple of the recent transactions and contract extensions, as well as obviously I had to make a whole 0 overall roster. So that's literally all I've changed. So, but yeah, Wyatt Langford, go get him. He's crazy good. What else we got here? Oliva. Oh, we passed up on Oliva. Who did we pass up on Oliva for? Was it the left fielder that we have? I think that might have been the move. Yeah, so Cy Young for him. All right, so we missed out on two. Oh, we did miss out on 2 generational pitchers. Is that going to be the difference? Is that going to be the reason why we struggle in this rebuild? It could be. Could be. Is that storyline setting up for it to come back and hurt us? Roman Anthony is Rookie of the Year, and Oshiro won it for us. Obviously, no postseason, so I'm not really too worried about it. But seeing some, we got an 82, we got a 75 in the bullpen. Couple mid 60s, okay, some 70s in our rotation, which expected. Our pitching is still looking pretty decent in terms of development here. These low 20 overall guys, not the randoms, but like Chandler, Fong, Pena, guys I signed, I didn't change them to F potential just because they were so low rated. I figured it was pretty obvious that they weren't people that I drafted, right? Brad Lester's up to 64, which is awesome. I like seeing that. Beatty, I can't remember what his potential was. I'm pretty sure it was like in the mid 70s. So I'm still holding out for him because I want to see how high we can get him into the 70s. Plus the clutch and everything looks great. I think he slots into the middle relief spot, setup spot like perfectly for us. And then of course our pitchers are looking pretty good. Same thing with these 30s and 29s. These are players that I signed to fill out the roster. So it's looking good there. I don't think we have anybody in terms of hitters down here. So let's just take a look at our pitching at the major league level. Adrian Rivas had a 3.61 ERA. Honestly, the stamina is going down. This could have been a guy we could have just thrown into the back of the rotation, but I feel like in this role, he's going to thrive. And I feel like it was the right move. It was the right move. Henderson looks fantastic. Love to see that. Portillo is getting better. I like what I'm seeing with this. I'm liking what I say with this. He's improving, right? He's only 63 overall, but to come up with a 4.6 ERA, I'm happy. Munoz, first season in the bigs, pretty good season as well. Okay, improvements. You just gotta half his appearances. Take away the innings, he's gonna get better. Like to see that. Plus, he's improving though. Like some decent per nines there. Irvin probably doesn't improve too much more, but not a bad first season. I will give it to him as our setup guy. Hey, I'll take it. And then Valito only blew 4 saves, had 37 saves. Look at him with the deep potential and everything. Hey, I might only get one more season out of him, but we're gonna keep going until he is no longer usable. McFadden is improving, a 3.5 ERA. Love that. 79 overall, perfect. Barrett Todd, slight improvements, right? He's getting there. He's getting there. Manuel is continuing to improve. Love it. Becker, okay, very simple. This might just be what Becker is, and that's okay. You know, you throw him in the back half of the rotation, we're looking solid. Liss, same thing. Honestly, what we should do is it should be like this. Actually, yeah, it should be like this for the regular season. Plus, these guys are right around the corner, and we drafted a couple pitchers. Now that I'm looking at it, maybe drafting that generational talent was the right move because he immediately slots into the rotation and he improves it so much more. But also, like, our offense, it's good, but like it definitely could be better. Like our catcher, pretty bad, right? And if like one player is bad, I think we can still do pretty well. And if this is the guy that's bad, I think we'll be okay. Oshiro, rookie of the year, had a pretty good season. Good on base percentage, good average. Like to see that. So there we go. Rookie of the year, put that in the award section for him. Hey, out of North Carolina, was the other one from Japan? I was going to say, hey, we got brothers on the team, but sadly, it's not going to be the case. So with that in mind, Norm, who we made a shortstop, definitely doesn't have the arm to play there. Overall, not the best of seasons. Lewis Scott, okay. The contact versus left definitely didn't improve, but everything else did. Not a great season. Not a great season at all. Ramon Sanchez, or Raymond, whichever you prefer. But Sanchez, yeah, this looks like what we're going to get from like almost identical stat lines. He's stealing bases though, so there's that. Gino Fernandez, are we still hitting home runs or are we just striking out 97 times a game? Yeah, we're striking out a bunch. Yeah. Again, pretty similar stat lines. Guillermo Gil, I think we're kind of hitting the peak of what he's going to be able to do potential, like overall wise. I think this is kind of where his potential was. I think it was like 81, 82, 83 to begin with. So I don't think he's going to get too much better. If he could just give me another like 2-3 seasons, I will be so happy. Just hold it a little bit. Valencia's up to a 97. Crazy good season, was in the MVP race for a reason. And then Rob Foley, how we looking? Slight improvement. I need him to start popping off a little bit more though. Just a little bit. Anybody have any quirks? I doubt it. I doubt it because normally. Oh, wait. Who was that? Who was that just had a quirk? Pinch hitter. I have a pinch hitter. That's night player and rally monkey. Okay. Pinch hitter and homebody. Oh, gold glove for Gino Fernandez back-to-back years. Oh, nice. Anybody else got an award? All-star for Norm. Is he our he is our Guillermo got an all-star. Chris Valencia didn't get an all-star appearance. Interesting. I didn't even check to see if any of our pitchers had any awards or anything. Any quirks? We have a rally monkey. Is he a hitter? No, he's not. Maybe he just performs better when the team's behind. Any quirks for our relievers? No. All right. Okay. All right. So there are a couple players that I do need to change their positions for next season as the Reds defeat the Yankees, who won the MVP. Ellie De La Cruz, up to a 96 overall. Had a pretty good season. 11 triples. Okay. And postseason was Andrew Horvath. Looks pretty good. So that's the squad. Let's do it. Let's see what we got for this next season. I think if we're looking at the draft, I think we need a big name pitcher. Alrighty, I've lost track of what season this is. 7 maybe. I think it is. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will be 7. One change. Snyder has come in. Outside of that, the bullpen's going to stay the same. One change I made to the bullpen was Jeff Daly was a starter, turned him to a reliever because, remember, his potential was actually lower than his overall. So dropping him to a reliever allows him room to grow. Big brain moves right here. Other than that, though, I honestly think we might be fine with bullpen arms. We have Gowdy, we have Henderson, we have Munoz, right? I feel like Gowdy comes up, helps us out when like Irvin and Valito start to fall off. Then we still have like Daly, who will improve. Lester, Morris, who else? Lux will still improve. Like, he's been good. And we may even, draft another guy like Edmund Liss. We could potentially turn him into a bullpen arm. He's going to get some time in AAA this year. And then, of course, we've got plenty of prospects that are looking very good. So, like, again, they look great. Again, these 20s these 30s don't even worry about them. They're not part of the actual team. Lineup wise, we do have one bench bat. It's going to be Sanchez, who is a pinch hitter anyways. So could work out for him because Oshiro is going to come in and play DH for us just because he has the worst fielding of our outfielders. Outside of that, I actually really like the team that is slowly assembled. I'm going to try to get us a catcher, a really good catcher, and hopefully we can. Hopefully we can. I've been trying to scout some catchers, and sadly they're either like really bad or they will get picked right before us. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to see if we can even discover some catchers. I've had terrible luck discovering catchers. I think I've discovered like one catcher, and I've sent scouts on like 8 discovery missions. It's crazy how bad my luck is with catchers. Every other position, I'll get infielders, outfielders, pitchers, no problem. Catchers, impossible. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the save. Oh man, I've even been like changing my scouts to see if I can get more discovery or better whatever, but I just can't get catchers. So season 7, maybe this will be the year of the catcher. All right, heading into draft, I know I said I wanted a pitcher. I wanted a very good pitcher. Thing is, there's some really good position players again, and I don't think there's any pitchers that are at the top of the board that immediately improve the team, except for Felix Quintero. I think he's the closest to like MLB ready, along with Dennis Enos, but I think he's gonna make it into like the second, maybe the third round. And so we have the 3rd, 31st, and 37th and 39th pick. Why do we have 3 first-round picks? That seems more than usual. Like normally we get like a competitive balance pick and everything, but why do we have an extra pick? Are they like, man, you guys really suck, we got to give you more? Either way, the thing is, this guy looks incredible. He looks so good. So does this guy. Either one I'm okay with. The thing is, if we don't get any of those, we're kind of screwed, because that's kind of my main point. And the rest of the picks that I'm seeing kind of like later on, like him later on is fine. Him later on in the draft is good. Him later on in the draft would actually be really good, because I think he could immediately help the team. He's got somewhat high overall, okay-ish potential, but I just think he's one of those guys that like is at least high enough overall where he could, maybe a season or 2 will help us out. Schmidt is another one of those, maybe a little bit later on in the draft. There's just picks later on in the draft, pitching wise, that I feel like will do just good enough to get us over the line, where these 2 guys are like easily the 2 best position players in the draft. So with the 3rd pick, are we gonna get one of those 2 position players? And one is off the board. Not a great start, and this is probably the other one, which means we are not going to get. Oh, we are going to get him. Perfect. That is huge. This is actually the one that I wanted out of the 2, I think. Is it? They look actually kind of similar, so I'm actually not too bummed about that. We're going to take Craig Crook. Boom. He is our pick. Craig Crook, infielder. Looks like to be a 2nd or 3rd baseman. I'm all in. I feel like that was the right move, hopefully. And like I said, I knew there were going to be some later on picks that we could pick up. I'm kind of... Wait, did Quintero get taken? He did. Where? Am I blind? Where is Quintero? Oh, he went 4th overall. Wow. Okay. So, any other... Yikes. Any other crazy ones? This one's interesting. I didn't want him because of the strikeouts and walks. But looking at the other ones, ooh, this was one that was like, maybe I can get him a little bit later in the draft. Unfortunately, I couldn't. I really think that was about it. This guy was injured, so like I kind of thought about him, but not really. I'm always worried about picking up those injured guys. You never know what's going to happen. This guy, it would have been cool to get him, but I think he's just going to be too low rated. Cairo, yeah, this is the one I wanted the most. Wow, he was picked by the Guardians. I bet you he's going to be crazy good too now that we didn't get him. So instead, we're going to go with, I don't think we're going to go Weber just yet. I think we're going to go with Dennis here. I think that's what I wanted, right? Yeah, I want Dennis. Let's go with Dennis. Dennis to start. Dennis the Menace. Dennis the Menace. Next pick. I mean, look at this. Like I said, we have all of our players that we're looking at. No. Maybe. But I think I'm going to take Weber here. Let's go with Weber. Feeling good. I'm feeling good. See, look, still got some good picks available for us. Do I have any position players left? We do. We have a catcher. Oh, I did have a catcher. I had a couple catchers that I was looking at, and I forgot to throw them on my board. No. This guy was injured. This was the one I wanted. What pick are we at? 39. He's ranked at 63. He might not make it to us. He's going to be low potential. I already know he's going to have low potential. I need a catcher, right? Because our guy just probably not going to be great. So I'm going to take Billy Franklin. I know it's a huge reach. We need the catcher. Now here, this is where we just start taking the best available prospect that we have and go from there. Like, we're just going to go with, actually, I'm probably going to take one of these two. I like this one. We're going to go, no, I wanted Schmidt. All right, you know I'm going to take Schmidt. So we're going to take Schmidt here. And then the last couple picks should be pretty easy. We'll take the high rate or the high potential one in Chavez. Next one, we will take McGraw. That's such a low overall. I think I'm going to take Ramirez here. Probably going to be like steep potential, but that's fine. He can come out of the bullpen or be a sixth man. And then I'm going to take one of these two in Carrillo or Watkins. I'm going to take Watkins, and that's going to be our draft. Honestly, not bad. Not a bad draft. I feel pretty good about that. So did we do it? Did we hit gold once again? We do have to check view draft picks. I'm happy with that. A lot of greens, a lot of blue. I like it. We missed out on a few others, so we'll just quickly float through the league here, see if anybody stands out. Brad Talley, didn't have him on my radar. Anybody? I mean, that looks like a pretty good hitting prospect. Switch hitter. Okay, not bad. 80-ish potential for him. 89 for Ramirez. I'm trying to see. Elroy Smith, second baseman, 95 potential. Okay. Denny Horrigan. There he is. That looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. What about the other ones? Cairo. Okay, so I'm glad we did not take him because 77 potential would have been bad in the first round for sure. Lopez with 83 potential. I feel like looking at these, I think we did pretty well. I feel like we did pretty well. I feel like we hit gold, right? Everybody else looks pretty bad. I'm feeling pretty good about it. So, Crook, 91 potential, looks to be a great hitter. Love it. We've got 80 potential for Enos, which sucks. I was kind of hoping for maybe like 83. I also didn't expect him to be 79 overall. So, that's one of those where, like, do we make him a reliever just to lower the overall and throw him down there? 8 potential for Weber, which is good. I guess it could be Weber, but I would assume Weber. He's a big guy, 6'4", 226. That's a big dude. Franklin, 58 overall. I like the hitting. Yes, only 73 potential, but you know what? The hitting stats looks like he'll be good enough. 81 potential for Schmidt, which is nice to see. 66 overall, 58 overall with 88 potential, and then 77 potential and 74 potential for Ramirez and Watkins. Ramirez is already 71 overall, and Watkins is 68. I like it. That's a good draft once again. We are currently around 500, 51 and 58. I'm liking what I'm seeing there. And anybody standing out? Yikes, man. Well, what's happening, man? I called up Snyder. He's been up here. I called up Liss because one of the guys was struggling. It was Irving was for sure, but who was the other starter that we had up? Becker. Why is Becker there? Why did that happen? Why did this get all messed up? We'll go like this. We'll call Daly back up there. And you can kind of see Gowdy has also been called up. He hasn't been great. He's only pitched 7 innings. Kind of tough to judge him. But we've made a couple changes in the pitching rotation and bullpen. Sanchez, 11 at-bats. Not great. But the rest of the bats on the team, for the most part, are doing fairly well. So I can see why we're around 500. Definitely pitching may come back to haunt us. But so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing. All right, we're climbing up. 71 and 91, so not bad. I can't believe, like, we're still the worst in the National League. How? But we're not in baseball. We're actually the 4th worst in baseball, which I will take. League leaders, Valencia once again in home runs. Love that for sure. Hold on, I saw a name that I'm not. Alvin Sanford. Oh, what draft was he? Year 1? Was he year one? He looks pretty good. He looks pretty good for a second baseman. That is crazy. Really quickly, I guess we could take a look at just what the teams are looking like just to get an idea, since we are so far into the future. I'm not gonna like pause on anything, so if you need to like check out some of the names or anything or see what the overalls are, you can pause the video. But just to kind of get an idea of what some of these teams are looking at, maybe some prospects have started to creep into teams, the lineups. Like Yelich is a 68 overall, Arenado's a 71. But you can kind of get an idea. Some new names like Abdul Gilchrist. It's pretty impressive name there. But okay, yeah, Todd Best, 86 overall. We thought about drafting him one year. Unfortunately, I think he went before us. But I feel like we've actually drafted fairly well. Like I don't think we've really missed or struck out on anybody. I think we've maybe, I don't want to say we picked the wrong player, but I feel like we may have drafted like maybe a little too safe, maybe take some chances on a couple guys here and there more often. But I'm pretty happy with what we've done with the team. Yeah, I feel like we just made, like with the player last year, we took what, Oshiro instead of the generational pitcher, which maybe the generational pitcher was probably the better idea. Is it the wrong pick? I don't know. Oshiro didn't have, I mean, he hit 38 home runs. Like the average on base percentage sucks, but 27 stolen bases with 38 home runs and 38 doubles. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Awards, Rookie of the Year. I'm just saying. And an MVP for Valencia. Are we really doing it wrong? So batting average was still pretty low, right? But runs, it looks like we're creeping up the ladder up to 21st. Quickly, we'll take a look at home runs. We're top 5. It's just, we got to get more people on base, get that average up a little bit more. ERA, where are we as a team? We are, it looks like we dipped a little bit this season, 26th. Yeah, not great. So back to the awards. Valencia wins MVP with 50 home runs. We'll take a look at his season in depth a little bit more. Gunnar Henderson won it for the AL. Brian Bayo with a Cy Young along with Paul Skeens. Oliva, once again, this is one of those where like, was he the pick or was it the left fielder? You know, I feel like we've missed out on 2 generational pitchers. Maybe one of them was the right move, and we knew both were going to be very good at the time, and we just went with different players. Lincoln Healy looks to be the reliever of the year for the Mets. Had a rough 4 innings last season, came back this year, was fantastic. Doval now with the Yankees, had reliever of the year, won. And then Chris Clark, okay, 31-year-old, wins Rookie of the Year along with Oshiro, which we talked about. So team-wise, I'm assuming this changed a little bit. I don't think any of these guys pitched. Oh, Becker did. Kind of see what we're getting from Becker. I don't really know if he's a guy to move forward with. Maybe just kind of keep around just in case. We'll have to wait and see. But you can kind of see we've got some names. We're getting close. We're getting close to bringing them into the team. Rivas, no, the potential went down. What? That's tough. Irvin, it looks like maybe this was the end of his run with the team. Henderson struggled a little bit, but I think now we start to move him into the closer or the setup role. Portillo's still doing well. Gowdy, first season, we'll see improvements. This guy, okay. I'm liking what I'm seeing. He's up to a 68 overall. Oh, okay, Munoz. Look at Bolito though. Can I kick Bolito out of his spot when he's doing so well? I think I have to, just if we're trying to like really win. McFadden continues to improve, which I like to see in terms of attributes at least. Like this season, it looks really similar. He allowed a few more runs, but it looks pretty similar. This is not what I want to see. I need him to keep getting better, not letting more runs in. Todd, okay, I see what Todd's up to. He's been improving every single season, so it's been good. I like what it is. Snyder came up for his first time in the big leagues. Struggled a little bit. You know, he's still only 77 overall. We'll be fine. And then Liss, yeah. Well, actually, a 4. It's his best season. Minimal appearances, but best season. Offensively, oh no, Sanchez, where are you? Hold on, where are you? Oh, I was on AA or AAA. Sanchez, up to a 70. Only had 14 at-bats. Didn't do great, though. So that pinch hitter quirk, not liking it. Foley's up to a 92. and now it's looking like he's starting to put it together, which is awesome. Still no quirks, so there's that. Valencia MVP status. I mean, look at that. 50 home runs, almost 50 doubles, 14 stolen bases. All right. I mean, that is a crazy season. He's a 99 now. Those are his awards. Love to see it. Gil is up to an 85. He's still going up slightly. I don't think, and I really thought we hit his potential. So maybe the good seasons are maybe just slightly giving him a little bit more leeway. Overall, though, I'm liking it. Attributes look great too. Fernandez, he's improving. 36 home runs, up to an 84 overall. I mean, he had like, what, 98 potential or something like that too. So he's still got room to grow. Oshiro, this is the rookie of the year with 38 home runs. I mean, it makes sense. Lewis Scott, how are we looking at 80 overall? An improvement. He brought his OPS up almost 200 points, like 30 points. That's pretty good. 21 home runs, 40 doubles, 17 stolen bases, only getting caught once. Norm, not great. Not great. And then Steven Oshiro, a little bit of a sophomore slump, but still not too much different from the previous season. So overall, I mean, the team is still in need of a little bit, but I don't think it needs too much more. I think we're looking pretty good. We're heading into another big season where I think pitching, if we can get a generational talent, which is like, I know, like, hey, oh yeah, can you just hand over generational talent and make it super easy? But if we could get a generational pitcher, I honestly think we're a playoff team. It sounds crazy, but getting that big pitcher at the top would solidify this rotation so much more. Because I think like McFadden, Felix Manuel, because he's technically in Florida, I guess it could be Felix Manuel, but Felix Manuel, I think with the generational talent, it'd be the talent, McFadden, Manuel, and then we can literally just chop and change the 4-5 spot. The bullpen honestly is like starting to sort itself out. We've got plenty of options, and I mean, even we've got a 75 and a 74 down here chilling. So again, I think the pitching will sort itself out. I think we're close to being a playoff team. I really do. Phillies won the World Series. Brian Guillen won the MVP for the World Series. Aiden Miller and Heston Kjerstad won postseason MVP. So there it is. Let's get to the offseason. Let's get to next year. Season 8 currently looking like this. I'm going to rock an extra pitcher, see if we can take some of the load off some of our other relievers. And Enos is probably going to get called up, or Enos, whichever. You can kind of see. I'm also really tempted to call up Stevens because I think he's going to be very good. There's also just a couple other really like starters that we have. And then on top of that, we still got Daly. Edmonds still here. I think Lester's going to be pretty good soon. Still got Beatty right around the corner, but you can kind of see what we're working with here. I've been trying to juggle the 40-man too, make sure that we're not like losing contract or minor league options on players that I don't need to. And of course, our bench is starting to fill out a little bit. We actually might have a full bench. Norm, sorry, bud, you're our backup shortstop now. What I did was I made Gil secondary position as shortstop. He's got the arm, he's got decent fielding. I feel like he could do that anyways, and then that allows Crook to play second base. Plus he doesn't have the arm to do that, so I can't put him at short. He's definitely not a shortstop, and Oshiro is definitely not a shortstop either. So this is the team. I think we're looking pretty good. I actually really like the team. I feel like we're doing pretty well here. Let's maybe put like, ooh, hold on, how do I want to do this? Maybe like this. Just get the best bats at the top and go from there. Overall, I think the team's still very good. I think us being ranked 30th is a lie. Overall wise, yeah, probably. But I think the team is definitely good enough to start pushing towards that wild card spot now, which is awesome. Again, if I can just get one more if I can get one more like Crook type player, like either it be an offensive player, preferably a pitcher, it'd be great. It'd be really good. So let's sim to the regular season. We got those two like beginner games and we lost 2-1. All right, let's get to the scouting. Let's get to the good stuff. And hopefully we get a really good pick. I want Eric Ka. I want him. I'm not going to get him. I have the 4th pick. I already know it. If we're looking at other options for this draft, there's some good pitchers. There are some good pitchers. I think this guy is one that if I can't get Ka, I think I'm going to turn to this guy for maybe like a second, maybe like that 31st pick, maybe the 41st pick. There's a couple others that I have my eye on too for later on in the draft. For players that I've scouted, I would like this catcher. I don't know if he's going to fall to me, but I would like him. Position players, I want this guy as my second option if I don't get Ka. I think this guy looks really good. I think he's going to be fantastic. Good kind of all around the board, just no power. So there's that. Other positions, maybe a little bit later on in the draft, we'll get Rivas. He doesn't look great, but he'll be someone that come off the bench. And these guys, they're probably like, this guy is going to be good for like a season, right? We're going to have him 1-2 seasons. He's going to be fine. Probably not the same with this guy, but this guy seems like he's good, but like he's not someone that like I'm like, man, I need to have him, you know what I mean? So we'll see. And then this guy also looks fairly good, but again, I just don't know if that's another like player that I want. So I'm gonna add a couple more players that I've scouted, especially like later on. Maybe like a Foster could be someone that I get. I doubt he falls to me though. Morgan, Mateo doesn't look bad. Maybe we'll throw him on the board. And there's a few others, so I'm gonna keep my eye out. Lorenzo Brito is definitely a name I'd like, but yeah, I really want Estes, and if I could get, it's probably Estes, right? Estes. It's probably Estes. I really want Ka, but I don't think I'm gonna get him. So let's see how this plays out with our pick. Here we go. Start the draft. Okay, so it's not the pitcher that we're hoping we get. Who is this? It's gonna be Derek Dye. We just talked about him. Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick at all. That's got to be the pitcher. That's got to be the pitcher. It is the pitcher. It is the pitcher. All right. So it all depends on who this is. Who is this going to be? It is Roger Ochoa. Okay. Again, this is one that he is one of those where it's like he's going to be good right off the rip. You may not get many years of him being good, but he's going to be good. He's got a high floor, low ceiling type of situation. But it's not even a low ceiling. It's a good ceiling. It's just he doesn't have a lot of room to grow, which means based off of that, I'm going to take this guy, Ron. I figure I really wanted a pitcher, but I feel like it's not a bad outcome. Okay. So we have him at 78, which I think he might sneak to our next pick. We have 68. We have 31 and 41, right? I think we go 2 pitchers back to back. I think we go Cabrera for 1 for sure. We take him. So there's Cabrera. And then now the next pick. Oh, Plaza got taken. This was one I had my eye on. Kind of. But who? Okay, Kofi got taken. I mean, that could have been one I would have been like, yeah, we should probably take him. Doesn't strike out anybody. Stamina's not that high, but he just looks like he's a good, well-rounded player. That might have been the smarter move, but I feel like we got the right move. So maybe, what is this, 41? Do I have any relievers scouted that might sit in this spot? Maybe like a Sanchez or a D'Angelo Means. I don't have him scouted that much, but our team liked him to begin with, so I'm gonna trust the scouts. I've got some good scouts. I gotta trust my scouts. And here at 68, I think this is where we reach a little bit. We'll take Rivas. Just to get an extra position player into the team. You always need them. And then now I just think we take whatever's available that I think would help us out a little bit down the road. Are there any like these type of players? Where are we at? 79. This is kind of where he's seated anyways. We'll take one. I like taking these just because, you know, you never know when you could just slot him in at the 6th man or maybe at the end of your rotation, and they'll get you that final push into the postseason. So just because they're a little bit higher overall than the rest of your pitchers. And I think from here on out, let's just take the highest potential player. So someone like Morgan or O'Hara. Or I think it's so low rated though. Do I have any other positions that I scouted? No, they've all got drafted. All right. We'll take Morgan then. And then we will also take Bliss or Valenzuela. I don't think it matters. We'll take Bliss. That's really it. You guys kind of get the gist. We'll finish off with Israel Valenzuela, who I don't think is going to be good, but I think we had a good draft. So how did we do? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. 96 potential for a guy that's my new shortstop. He's got the fielding, the arm. The reactions aren't great, but he's got the speed, good hitting stats. We're going to have to figure out our infield. Cabrera, 70 overall with the 91 potential. Was that what it was? Yeah. Then we got a reliever with 91 potential. Love it. Rivas, again, like I said, just a player you can fill out the bench with. Bradley, 75 overall with 73 potential. 75, honestly, I'm going to make him a long reliever. We'll turn him into a reliever. Overall drops, has a little bit of room to grow. Morgan, 59 overall. 51 for Bliss with B potential. And then Valenzuela, 54 overall with C potential. That's a draft. That's a draft indeed. So looking at some of the other names that are popping up on the board, let's go. The main one was who? The Athletics. The Athletics went with the pitcher, 88 potential, 70 overall. Okay. And then they also got Kofi, which also looks very good. The good hits per 9 and walks per 9, what I like a lot. That's a good pitcher to get. So we missed out on him, but I think we did fine with a reliever, a starter, and a second baseman, all that could potentially help us out within a season or two. Especially the reliever just is like the one that's the farthest away, and even his per 9s look great. So hey, I'm all in on our picks. We made the postseason, 89 and 73. What? So we'll be taking on the Diamondbacks. Okay, league leaders, Valencia once again with home runs. I did extend his contract. I'll quickly show you just kind of the budget to kind of get an idea. So we'll have Valencia and Fernandez. I extended both of their contracts. As you can see, it was a big boy contract. His service time would have run out in 2033. So we're going to have 33, 34, and 35 with him. So we'll be fine there. And we should be fine, right? Actually, no, it would have ran out after 33. So we'll still have 2 years extra of him. My thing is this, right? If we're making the postseason now with the team that we currently have, plus the additions of the guys that we just got, like we have our new shortstop, right? Like Oshiro's probably getting moved to the bench, which means Crook can move to third. We can move Gil back to second. And then we have our shortstop in, what was his name? Estes. So there's that. Our bench will be full now, and then our pitching is only going to get better as players continue to develop. As you can see, Stevens, I called him up, pitched 5 games, started 5 games, 1-1. But look at the numbers; those are good numbers. I don't think anybody else got any MLB time, but as you can see, we're like on the verge of having all these guys be MLB ready. Like Polito's been chilling here. He's 19. He's 78 overall. Like he looks insane. He looks so good. Our bullpen is still pretty stacked. Even though they're like high 60s, mid 60s, they're still good. I think Lester could be a decent bullpen arm. I still think we have decent bullpen arms currently. And then offensively, I'm pretty happy with the team. So stats wise, team ranks, where do we rank as a squad? Average is going to probably be still pretty low, right? We were 29th, but in terms of runs, where were we? Oh, we are also towards the bottom in 20th. Awesome. What about home runs? We were 5th. So that was where all our runs came. We were just hitting home runs like crazy. If we take a look at ERA, where are we as a team ERA wise? 6th. So it's definitely way better. If we take a look at awards really quickly, this guy is going to haunt us, huh? This guy is going to haunt us. I guess we should have taken him. Maybe we should have taken him. Walker Jenkins wins it for the Twins. How long has he been in the majors? Oh, he's been in the majors for a while. Okay. Soto on the Blue Jays. Langford with the Tigers now. Okay. Bayo again with a Cy Young. And then, of course, Oliva is going to win it as well. The Nationals are probably going to be pretty good with their prospects starting to make the team now. Batting title was James Wood and Perdomo. Jojo Romero's reliever of the year along with Garrett Crochet. Some people say I look like him. I can't grow his facial hair. This is about the extent of my facial hair, and it looks ridiculous. But Joel Esparza is rookie of the year. He looks pretty good. And then William O'Keefe wins it on the other side, beating out a few others. All right. What's our team looking like? So I think this is actually how I wanted it for the postseason. Rivas somehow back to B potential. I could see why. Career year. Love it. Portillo also helped us out. I felt like the lefty-righty combo out of the bullpen would help us out a little bit more. Beatty came up, only got 1 inning. I'm not going to judge him on that. Gowdy, better. Love that. Share. We said it was Share. Okay, he only pitched 12 innings, though. So if he has like 1 or 2 bad innings, it's going to really inflate his ERA. Ortega, I'll take that. Why is he here? Why is Ortega here? Oh, whoa. Okay, so it is messed up, actually. Hold on. We had... Becker was not up. I know that. He was struggling. It just kind of seems like this is what we're going to have from Becker. But he was up. I made him a reliever instead of a starter, and it was because he was already starting to regress. But he got roughed up a little bit in the games he started. So I thought, you know what, let's make him a reliever. It'll give him some time to develop a little bit more. We should be fine. So who am I missing? Actually, it wasn't Lester. Did they just? How many? Did I really have Ortega in the bullpen the entire season and I didn't even notice that? Was that something I really did all year? And I had him starting? No, I didn't have him starting. So I had a 5-man rotation. What happened? Who am I missing? Because like he got a majority of the starts. Oh, that's right. I called up Stevens. And that's probably what changed some things, because I also called up Dennis. Dennis got some starts. Stevens got some starts. And I guess I just had Ortega in the bullpen all season. I did not realize I did that. Okay. Wow. I can't believe I did that. All right. So back to where we were. Valito, 2 point. I don't know if I can have him in the team. Munoz, 8 potential though. I like what I'm seeing there. And Henderson, 50 saves. There we go. So I think this is going to be, we're going to rock the 5-man rotation for the postseason. Great. McFadden. That is what I'm talking about, man. He's been struggling. I think he needs to get dropped down. We'll probably go Snyder here in the 2 spot with the 3.4 ERA, 1.3 whip. Todd, I feel like this is where we're going to have him sitting. Maybe the 3, 4, 5. And I'm okay with that. He's been good. He's been solid. He's been consistent. And he's been like slightly improving. So that's good to see. He's been really struggling. He even started decreasing and like regressing this season, which sucks. Ortega was in the bullpen. We'll make him a starter, see how he does. And then McFadden at the top. So overall, I'm pretty happy with what we got. Our long relievers were doing well. And then the offense, the bench is pretty poor. Like, I'm not gonna lie about that. The bench is pretty stinky. But then you've got Foley, who continues to develop. Our leadoff guy hit 30 home runs. Love that. Valencia hit his peak, but it's still been fantastic. It's crazy how good he's been. Gil, like I said, we've probably seen the best of him. So if we could just get like another season, we should be fine. Gino Fernandez continues to improve. He's hitting 37 home runs. I know the rest of the numbers don't look great in terms of average and on-base percentage, but I'm fine with that. Oshiro up to an 81. Better than last year. So yes, give me more of that. What are his attributes looking like? Pretty good. Any other awards? A Silver Slugger of the Year. He won Rookie of the Year. What about, hey, he's getting better too. I like it. Quirks? Any quirks on these guys? A homebody, a gold. This guy's winning gold gloves like crazy, which makes sense. I mean, look at his 96, 99 for fielding and reaction. A couple all-star appearances for Gil. A couple all-star appearances, home run champ, MVP, Silver Slugger. Okay, we're winning some awards. What about Crook? How was he not in the Rookie of the Year conversation? He was decent. Performs better at night. The other Oshiro, who might actually get benched, even though he hasn't been terrible, he just hasn't been great. And Billy Franklin, the new catcher that we drafted, doesn't look great overall wise, but he's up to 61. He should still improve a little bit more. You know what? It's the first year in the playoffs. I'm not expecting crazy things, but hey, who knows? We are, like I said, I wasn't expecting the best results. We're about to add some new players. The Reds defeat the Red Sox. Let's go see who was the MVP. Logan O'Hoppe. Okay. 2 and 3 years for the Red Sox. Cam Collier was the postseason MVP. Brett Beatty was for the Red Sox. So we're in the postseason now. We're only going to get better offensively. Pitching wise, I feel pretty good about our team. Hey, is next year the year? All right. We're a playoff team. We only got better on offense, even though, you know, it doesn't really look like it on paper. But we are 24th in pitching, which is a big jump from what we were. And if you look at what we've got going on here, I feel pretty comfortable with it. Plus, the depth that we have, I feel like this could be the season. It's one of those where it's like, I think we're good enough to compete this year. Like, yeah, Crook's a little low rated. Yeah, our catcher's low rated, but this guy right here, I made him a shortstop. It bumped him up a couple overall, but he's going to be our third baseman. So I like the team. I think we're looking good. The only thing I could really change is I could call up, I think we have one more player in the farm system, which is Rivas. I could call him up if I really wanted to. Realistically, it's probably the better move. But I think our bench is fine. I think we're fine pitching wise as well. I have faith in the team. I think this is going to be the season that we finally push for that World Series. It feels good. I feel like we've really assembled a good squad. I mean, look at McFadden. McFadden has been like low key real nice. Our offense has been crazy. Getting 2 generational players back to back in the first season was huge. We missed out on a couple pitchers, but you know what? This team's looking nice. Again, we won the division 88-74. We're taking on the winner of the wild card, which is actually a big thing. We got the Reds above us, which are clearly the favorites, right? They've won 2 of the last 3 World Series. They are going to be our toughest competition unless they get knocked out. And, you know, maybe we got a little bit of a run for us. We're going to be taking on the Phillies or the Dodgers. But first, where do we rank as a team? How good were we this year? Batting average has always been an issue for us, and we were 24th. What about runs? Where were we runs-wise? Around the middle with 16 home runs. We were top 5, at least tied for top 5. And if we take a quick look at pitching, we were a top 10 pitching team. So again, we've been improving slightly. No awards, which is slightly annoying. Jackson Chourio, who's now 28 years old, wins MVP over Torkelson and Dylan Cruz. Langford won MVP on the AL side. Cade Horton, now with the Mariners, won it, beating out Kamar Rocker, which is a name I totally forgot about. Spencer Strider won it with the Reds. All right. And this national pitcher just continues to dominate. Holy smokes. He looks good. He looks good. Maybe we missed this. Maybe this was like the difference maker that we missed out on. Just getting at least one generational pitcher. I think that would have been a huge one. I think that may have pushed us a little bit closer to the playoffs, maybe like a season earlier, and at least would have given us like one guy that we know will be on the bump and dominate at least once every 4 or 5 days. Crochet was reliever of the year along with Jojo Romero once again. And then Tristan Vierling, man, okay. And Javier Ibar, that is the name. This is probably going to be a mess. It looks like he could probably be called up again. Ooh, how? Okay, I see why I didn't call him up, but he looks like he should be close to being called up. Same thing with Wesley. He's looking pretty good. Or Wesley. We've got 380s. And Stevens, who was our long reliever this year, who did struggle a little bit, but at the same time, it wasn't terrible. Looking at this, Becker didn't pitch that much. I'm trying to see if anybody else got called up. Oh, yeah, this was bad. This was bad. I remember that. Lux did not pitch this year. Ryder did not pitch. All these guys did not pitch in the majors. The only one that's missing is Manuel. So who got called up instead of him? It was Todd. I sent him down. He was struggling. He was also going down in overall. But I'm trying to see, maybe Snyder gets sent down? Or do we have like a really bad bullpen arm that let us down here? Let's see. I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing here. So maybe we go back up here. We just have too many pitchers now. What's going on with all the pitchers? I feel like somebody needs to be sent down. It probably needs to be Dennis. So let's send down Dennis really quick. Let's get him down in maybe Valito too. I think he comes over here. Yeah, it's got to be Valito. Valito gets sent down, and we'll figure out who was the extra offensive player, which is probably just a one of these, right? So I guess we call up this guy. We just, hey, who's on the 40 man that needs to be called up? We'll call up him. He'll be our extra catcher on the bench. But Valito needs to be sent down. It's just one of those where we saw the best from him. He's not going to get much better. I think this is what we're supposed to be looking like. Pitching wise, we should be fine now, except for who was not the guy to start the match. Polito. Polito actually should start though. I have faith in him. Maybe we go like this for the postseason and we rock with these 3 or these 4, I should say. Man, I'm all, yeah. All right, enough yapping, enough blabbering. This is what I'm rocking for the postseason. I was trying to figure it all out. Whew. When the CPU messes up your stuff, it throws you off. It throws you off, and it's really annoying that that's still a bug after all these years. That even though you have your lineup set, you pick up you pick your September call ups, the season ends, then it's like, you know what? Let me send down your best pitcher. It's dumb. It's dumb that it still happens. And I feel like maybe Todd goes over here and we rock like this. So Snyder, 33 games started. He did struggle. I have faith in him though. I feel like he should have done better, but I totally understand that, you know what? A little bit of a struggle this season. Barrett Todd, again, was super consistent. I can't fault him. He would be a good, 5, 6 for starter. Gaudy, yeah, I mean, this guy's gross. What a pickup. Cher, again, also fantastic. Love it. Beatty finally got 4 innings, did well. Rivas, there we go. Love to see that from him. Munoz was unbelievable again. And then, of course, Henderson is our closer. Yeah, that's nice. McFadden continues to just be one of our best pitchers by quite a bit. We've got Polito, who got called up, got 6 starts. Looks pretty solid. He improved, but kind of a disappointment. You get 2 good seasons, and then it just kind of started to slip away, which is super, super unfortunate. And then Ortega is going to round out the rotation for the postseason. If we take a look at our lineup, though, obviously Joe Random and our extra catcher, Casey Shelley. Ramon Sanchez off the bench. Okay, there we go. And Norm. Yeah, there's that. Oshiro, is he our main bench bat? Yeah, he's definitely our main bench bat. Foley, though, 41 home runs, 15 stolen bases. Looks great. Need him to be really good, along with Valencia, who once again was fantastic. Gil, there it is. He's starting to regress a little bit, but he still looks good. He's definitely the guy for this shortstop spot. Yeah, shortstop spot. But he's clearly regressing. Gino, he's the bomb hitter. That's all we need him to do. Just hit home runs. Is it another Gold Glove? The guy's a Gold Glove machine. Yeah. I mean, look at those attributes. The guy hits home runs and has some of the best first base defense in the league. Oshiro, center fielder, up to an 84 now. 32 home runs, 30 doubles, 20 stolen bases. I mean, I'll take it. Not the best average or on base percentage, but not bad. Not bad. Ron, how we looking? How was the rookie year? Any quirks? No, but pretty unfortunate season. Not the best season. Craig Crook, about the same. And then Lewis Scott continues to get better. 33 home runs. +9, +7, and +6. I like that. Billy Franklin, about the same. And that kind of makes sense. So postseason time, how are we looking? The Dodgers. Okay. The Dodgers. What are we looking like, Dodgers? Ellie De La Cruz? Evan Carter, Torkelson. Rushing has been called up. Or rushing, I should say. Papa Thompson. Okay. All right. Pitching wise, Jackson Ferris. A few others. I think we should beat this team. I know it sounds crazy, but I think we should beat them. So here we go. Jackson Ferris, Dalton McFadden. We lose. But Polito brings us back. Then Manuel wins. And Ortega knocks out the Dodgers. Next up, it's the Reds, who have Stevie Taylor. That's right. They drafted Stevie Taylor. Oh, I totally forgot about that pick. Terry Ruth was another name that popped up that I think we talked about after the draft, like players that were signed. Spencer Steer is still there. He's up to a 92. Ryan Clifford, former Met. Encarnacion Strand, Noelvi, McLean, Campusano, and Ricardo Cabrera. I mean, what was he? He was draft 1 or 2, right? I want to say he was like the first draft with Valencia. I could be wrong, though. Yeah, this is a really good team. Plus, their pitching is fantastic. Yeah, they've drafted well, too. And they've just put together a really good squad. So how are we looking offensively? Foley, man, wake up, please. Foley and Estes. I need those two to wake up. They're like the worst 2 hitters on the team. Even the catcher, look at what he's putting up. All right, McFadden. Okay, 1-1. That's fine. We're coming home. I have faith. That's a good start. That's a better start. McFadden, I need you to wake up a little bit, but we win anyways. And it was Polito, who is 1-0, 19 innings, 12 strikeouts. I'll take it. Chase Petty kind of let them down. Either way, we're taking on the Yankees. Did I see Paul Skeens with the Yankees? Oh, man. Okay, so Spencer Jones, Jason Dominguez, you got Salas. Oh, Rajic Arias, Volpe, Jorbit Vivas. Oh, they've got a squad. Skeens, Hampton, Bieber, Mohamed Mosley. Okay. Yeah, that's a team. This one's going to be tough. Who's pitching? Okay, so the bottom to the top. Oh man, our starters are looking tough. Do we switch it up, or do we have faith with the guys that we have? You know, I feel like we gotta. The bullpen though, bullpen's looking nice. Henderson struggled a little bit. How about the offense now? I think we move it around a little bit. I think we move it around just to kind of get some bats moving. Maybe wake up some people. Maybe Foley comes down to like this spot. Maybe we move things around. And let's see if that wakes up the bats a little bit. The pitching, I'm feeling a little worried. Like, do we go to Barrett Todd? He's been doing good. Maybe he starts over here instead of Ortega. Let's see what the lineup's looking like for the Yankees again. A lot of lefties, a lot of switch hitters. And it looks like they don't hit lefties as well. So maybe we actually do stick with Ortega. And we go like this. I guess that's what we're gonna have to do. All right, I need Felix to be on his A game. But we win the second and the third and the fourth. One game away still, and man, it looks like we blew this game in the ninth. We did. So it comes down to Ortega versus Chase Hampton, and there it is. We did it. The team has put it together. Holy cow. Chris Valencia, of course it was him. And also the playoff MVP, 375 in the World Series with 3 home runs and 6 RBIs. Postseason MVP, 400 average. Jason Dominguez also had a good postseason. Let's take a look at our pitching staff. Starters, kind of half and half. Manuel and Felix kind of put it together. Felix, talk about a redemption arc in the postseason. Barrett Todd was good. But look at the rest of the bullpen. The rest of the bullpen was pretty good. Got the job done. And offensively, Gil was solid. Of course, Valencia was fantastic. Crook, yeah, I'll get some more of that. Gino Fernandez, I almost said, I don't know, I was coming up with like a different G name besides Gino. But Gino Fernandez, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs. Oshiro kind of struggled. Ron struggled big time. What about Rob? Okay, he started to wake up towards the end when we needed him most. Lewis Scott and Billy Franklin. To think the draft-only team put it together in what, 9 seasons? I think this is. I think that might be the quickest we've ever done it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button down below. If we can get this video to 2,000 likes, I'll do a different draft-only rebuild. I got a little bit of a twist in mind. I'll come up with it. I'll bring it to you guys. But I got to see this video to 2,000 likes. And that's about it. I'll catch you all in the next one. And if you're looking for more rebuild content, you should check out the video on screen now. I definitely think you'll enjoy it. That's about it. Peace.